everyone, Ben here from PaxPower Performance Trucks in Houston, Texas with a really cool video. We're going to be comparing our truck to something you all want us to compare it to, and that is the 2023 Ford Raptor R on the Gen 3 chassis with its 5.2 liter V8 and 700 horsepower. And we're going to be comparing it to one of our conversions, a truck that started life as a normal F-150. This was an antimatter blue on brown King Ranch F-150 with chrome grille and bumpers like you see on dealer lots all over the country. And we took that truck completely apart and built it back with Gen 3 Raptor body, Raptor suspension, a host of aftermarket upgrades that the customer specified, and a Whipple Supercharger on top of that 5 liter that makes us 775 horsepower. We're going to be going through these two trucks, talking about the similarities, the differences, why you might buy one over the other. Hope you come along with us on this discussion of these two trucks, and really curious to hear what you think at the end. First thing I'd like to start with are how are these vehicles similar? It's our opinion that they both started life as F-150s and got upgraded with Raptor components, the difference being that this happened at the Ford factory before it arrived at the dealership, and these Raptor components were installed with us at PaxPower. Just visually looking at the trucks, you can see that they're very, very similar. They wear the same body panels from a Gen 3 Raptor. They ride on 37-inch tires. They use very similar front long travel suspension arms. The cabs are clearly the same. The doors, the interior, the technology, many of the vehicle systems such as the braking system are the same. There are some small differences, and I know some people will say, but the Raptor frame. But I encourage anyone, lay under a Raptor, lay under an F-150. Look for the differences that supposedly make it stronger. It's our opinion that if there are any, they're very minor. And if you're worried about bending a frame, you need to be thinking about a different build than either of these anyway. So we're going to take a few minutes and talk about the differences, but just understand it's our opinion that these are very, very similar trucks. It wouldn't be fair if right off the bat we didn't acknowledge the advantages that the Raptor R may have over our Raptor conversions. We think the primary advantage has to deal with the updated suspension. Much of the front suspension is almost identical to what we're using on our trucks, but there has been a couple of recent upgrades that have been incorporated into the Gen 3 Raptor and Raptor R. The first being the live valve shocks. Those are controlled by various modes. You can make it ride softer off-road or feel sportier in the corners, and some people really enjoy that system. However, we do think that our analog system that doesn't have the live valve rides better in most situations than this. And if you really want the live valve system on your PaxPower conversion, we can add that and add full control of that. But really, we think if you want more shocks than what comes on a Raptor, we need to be thinking about 3.0s and bypasses anyway. The other advantage comes at the rear. The Gen 3 Raptors were upgraded from a leaf spring setup that has been around since the beginning of time to a 5-link rear setup with a coilover. Having driven both of these trucks extensively and other V6 Gen 3 Raptors, the rear 5-link does feel more solid out back. It is a nice upgrade, but we promise, drive both trucks back to back and your average person will not be able to tell them a difference. The rear Raptor suspension works really well, handles bumps, handles loads. It works. We've put it on hundreds of trucks, and Ford has put it on hundreds of thousands of trucks, so we know it does well. We don't think that there's a reason to cut up the back of a frame to install a 5-link setup on one of our conversions, but if that's something you have to have, give us a call. We can do pretty much anything. Now I'd like to get into what we consider the advantages of our PaxPower Raptor conversions over the Raptors from Ford. And I bet you didn't think I was going to start in the engine bay. What we have in front of us is the 5.2 liter Predator engine that comes in these Raptor Rs. It makes 700 horsepower from its 2.3 liter supercharger. And now here we are in the engine bay of the PaxPower Raptor conversion. This has a 5.0 liter engine in it from the factory that had 400 horsepower, and we've upgraded that engine with a 3.0 liter stage 2 Whipple Supercharger, raising the horsepower to 775. So that's right, there's an advantage right there. We already have 75 more horsepower than the Raptor R, and it comes from a larger displacement supercharger, and that means that it's going to have more top-end power. Sure, the Raptor R is going to probably be a little quicker and more responsive with its smaller supercharger, but at the end of the day and the end of the race, this 3.0 liter 5.0 is going to be in front. Also, we think that owning one of these long term is a much better solution than having a Predator engine that comes in the Raptor R. Before coming out here, we looked up what does a Predator engine cost. Well, guess what? You can't buy one. You can only buy it in pieces from Ford. And guess what? Those pieces are expensive. So if you were to break one of those engines outside of warranty, expect to pay $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 to replace it. Ours, on the other hand, good news. This is a standard 5.0 that comes in hundreds of thousands of F-150s and Mustangs per year. It's very affordable at the dealer, and if I was going to own one long term, it would be this one. Another big area where we think the PaxPower conversions have a huge advantage is in the interior. First, we're going to start with the Raptor interior, and I'm about to break some Raptor owner hearts. Your truck started as an XLT, and it doesn't take a lot of looking around to confirm that. When you start touching the fit and finish on a Raptor, Gen 3 Raptor regular, Gen 3 Raptor with 37 performance pack, Raptor R, these all started as XLTs. The door, the quality of this covering here, the dash panel, so much of the plastics in this truck is XLT trim. Yes, they've upgraded it with some really nice Recaro seats, but guess what? You don't all get those. And if you don't get the Recaros, you get standard F-150 seats. You do get a steering wheel that makes the Raptor unique. You get a little bit of branding. But when we go over to the King Ranch, we think that we're going to make the case that a lot of this stuff is not that special inside of the Gen 3 Raptor, and in fact, it's a lot better situation over there in the PaxPower Raptor converted King Ranch. So now we're inside of the King Ranch converted PaxPower truck, and we think that this is a much nicer place to be. And where do you spend most of your time? Looking at your truck or inside of it? Inside here, where you would have seen cheap XLT level plastic inside of the Raptor, you see brushed aluminum. Where there was just plain vinyl pieces on the gear shift and around, you see high-end leather, you see wood that has the King Ranch logo emblazoned in it. Over on the door panels, where the Raptor was just a simple XLT door panel with orange stitching, this is a multi-piece leather panel with lots of layers to it and details. Coming to the door, you see the really nice King Ranch stamped pieces. Technology-wise, same between the two trucks, But in terms of fit and finish and luxury, we think this one is way out in front. And let's say you don't like King Ranch Brown. Well, then we could do a Platinum because they offer several nice black interior options and seat trim options with the Platinum. We could do a Lariat and do custom seat covers for you. We could do, heck, even if you wanted it to look like a Raptor, we could take a lower trim truck. Since they start as XLTs, let's start with one of those at a lower price point and make it what you want. But the point is, with PaxPower, you're not stuck with one interior that everybody has and may not be as nice as you want. You have the entire F-150 trim lineup at your disposal, and you can make a one-of-one truck exactly how you want. What we think is the biggest advantage to a PaxPower Raptor conversion is customization. As you look at this truck, you can tell it's a one-of-one custom Raptor built for a certain customer. He was able to choose the wheels and tires. He chose the paint color. He chose that we body colored these to give it a more luxurious look. He wanted aftermarket bumpers and he chose what lights went in those. And we went even a step further and powder coated and painted those to be body color. Horsepower was important to this owner. He did the supercharger. Maybe horsepower is not important to you. Maybe you want to do a hybrid engine because you want to go camping, or the gas mileage or the technology is what you're looking for. Whatever it is, it's a lot easier to start with an F-150 and make it exactly what you want than be constrained by both the truck already coming one way and the high price of the Raptors. Conversely, when we look at the Raptor R, we see a standard Raptor. Aside from a few aspects, this hood vent, these graphics, this little red R in the grille, this looks like any other V6 Raptor that's out there. And people buy Raptors to look different and have it be different. And we expected the Raptor R to follow that, but in our opinion, it doesn't. This just looks like a standard Raptor. Obviously, something that you're all going to be wanting to know is pricing. How much does this cost? Before coming out here, we checked the market on Raptor Rs, and there's 10 for sale in the country. There's one new one going for $211,000, and the rest of them range from $140,000 to $175,000, let's say. And while Ford advertised this as a $115,000 truck, hardly anybody's getting them at that number. If you have the ability to buy one at MSRP, go for it, enjoy it. It's a lot of truck for the money. We've actually had a few customers that have gotten that allotment at MSRP, flipped their Raptor Rs for profit, and then turned around and bought a PaxPower and built it exactly how they want. But when we come over to the PaxPower, we automatically start at a much lower price point. You can start with a PaxPower Raptor R at about $95,000. And what are you gonna get for that? You're gonna get a V8 4x4 F-150 that we're gonna change with the Raptor body. You're gonna get the Raptor suspension, 35-inch wheels and tires, Raptor bumpers, and we're gonna supercharge that truck to 775 horsepower. So it'll have more power than a Raptor R and be at the price point for what a lot of people are paying for 37 Performance Edition V6 Raptors. And what's gonna drive the price point up is gonna be getting stuff. You're probably gonna top out in a PaxPower Raptor at about $125,000. And what do you get for that $95,000 to $125,000? Well, you get a nicer truck to start with. This customer started with the King Ranch. The other higher price point customers may start with a Platinum. And then you're gonna get to accessorize it exactly how you want. You can get aftermarket bumpers, you can get lights, you can get the wheels and tires and the suspension you want. But the good news about as your price point creeps up with PaxPower is that you're getting stuff. You're not just paying dealer markup, you're getting high quality upgrades exactly how you want them. Finally, I want to conclude this video with addressing the naysayers out there. We've been building these V8 Raptor conversions for 5 years and we've heard it all. And so, since we're comparing our truck to the Raptor R, let's address a few of those things. First off, people talk about resale. No way one of these trucks will ever have the resale of a Raptor. Well, if you paid $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 over MSRP for your Raptor or Raptor R, guess what? You're not going to be recovering that in resale either. If you're buying one of these trucks marked up and you're gonna drive it and put some miles on it, you should expect that that is gonna be below MSRP when you go to sell it. And you can do the math pretty easy. Those translate to some big losses on some of these guys that paid for marked up Raptor Rs. On the other hand, our truck is much more tied to what it is, what you're getting. It has a much more set price point. You start at a lower price point and sure, it's gonna devalue. All vehicles do, but it doesn't take a lot for the next buyer to look at this truck and see that it's a quality made piece, has the right upgrades, makes a lot of power, was made by a craftsman, a one-of-one unique truck. And so where customers have sold their PaxPower, it's been rare. A lot of them keep them for years and years and love them because they can't get anything else quite like it. But where customers have sold it, they've done really well on resale. Second, we get a lot of comments, and I'm sure they're gonna be in the bottom of this video. It's not a Raptor. Well, I don't know what to tell you on that one. Like I said, they both started life as F-150s and got upgraded with Raptor components. It just happened at different times. But if it matters to you that you have a Raptor, I guess you just have to buy a Raptor. And in fact, this one's for sale. If you need a Raptor R and you want it, I haven't dissuaded you from buying it. This one is available. It has 300 miles on it. It's $165,000. Give us a call. We'd love to get you set up with it and this in your driveway. But if you don't care about the Raptor specific stickers, which we can put on, or the branding, which we could put on, you know, if you don't care that it came out of the factory as a Raptor, we think this is a much better option. Will save you a ton of money and allow you to get exactly what you want. And the third thing we hear from people is warranty and serviceability. Well, that's another good thing about these PaxPower builds. At the end of the day, they're not that complicated. We're upgrading them using OEM Raptor parts from Ford so the Ford dealers can work on them. They've seen all of this stuff before. The supercharger system we use is a Whipple 3-liter system that appears on lots of aftermarket trucks. Ford dealers have worked on them, and we don't need to bring this truck back to Texas if you have a warranty claim. Chances are we can get with your dealer or an off-road shop by you and take care of all your warranty concerns very close to you, and that way you never have to let go of your truck. After watching this video, if you think this is something that you might want, give us a call. You know that we have some of this on the website, but at the end of the day, all of these trucks are one-of-one custom pieces, and we'd love to hear from you. Make a quote, talk about your dream rig, and see if we can make it happen.